Welcome to Previously Recorded. I am your host, RP Walsh, and as always, I am here with Shane Gallagher and just Bob. This episode, we have a special guest, Amanda Simone. Amanda, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm so honored.
Today, we are going to be talking about The Office versus Parks and Rec. Sorry. So we're going to just debate which has the better characters, episodes, overall series in general, and kind of just go from there and see which is better. We prepared this time. There is nothing.
Hey, don't you start that. I did not prepare. That is the bit.
And nothing is in particular order.
Nothing is in particular order. So cool. Let's go. I also just want to take a minute to thank everyone that listened to the first two episodes, the regular one and the mini episode. The outpouring of support has been awesome, and I just am shook. Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's begin.
I thought you want to explain the breakdown, that like the kind of the way that we planned on ranking or comparing these two before we get started.
Sure. So we came up with we want to go through each series and kind of see what series has better characters. Characters drive these shows. These are character driven shows. These are not plot driven whatsoever. I mean, there's a slight plot.
So a little more plot in Parks and Rec.
There's a little bit more plot in Parks and Rec, yes. So we want to just kind of go through.
Bias.
We're trying to remain as unbiased as possible while we do this, which is going to be.
It's incredibly biased already.
Pretty hard. That's what she said, right?
Unbiased.
Unbiased. Okay. So we're going to start and go through who has the better characters. We're going to go kind of start with our top three favorites from each show and then kind of compare and see where we stand. So as co-host of this show, Shane, I'll let you go with who do you think is the best character from The Office?
Kevin, easily.
It's hard to argue that.
No, Next question.
All right, so I'm going to counter that. I also have Kevin as my favorite, so I'm not countering anything.
Come on, guys.
But Creed in a very close second.
An icon.
An icon.
Very still upset we never got an episode through just Creed's eyes.
That would be
amazing.
The best. Kevin is my favorite, but you got to go with Michael as the number one character.
Considering there's episodes where you don't hear from Kevin, I feel like he can't be the best character.
And he doesn't really develop till about season 3-4-ish.
Oh yeah, there's a big change in Kevin.
Yeah, huge change. He goes from a normal to a guy talking like this.
And when Michael leaves, like if Kevin left, sad. Love that dummy. But when Michael left, like, come on now.
Yeah,
I still like all the episodes. I'm not, Yeah, exactly.
So I say it's safe to assume that your character for the first number one character is Michail as well?
Well, you see, I had my list of 3 in no particular order.
That's my bit. You don't know if she can say on this show.
We might have to.
I might have Michael.
Hey, you know how I topped? You know how I topped her? Because I didn't make my character list, and I'm just showing up blind. So
that's your real bit. Not being prepared.
I am never prepared, which is why my list was never in a particular order.
So since you are never in a particular order, Bob, what do you have as your number one character?
My number one Office character is Michael Scott.
Yeah, it has to be Michael Scott.
Number 2 and 3. Give me a minute.
The show,
number 1, yes, is Michael.
The show has a heavy drop off after Michael leaves. It's not the same. It's not as funny. They try and make Andy exactly like Michael. It's just not as good.
But the hate that it gets the last couple seasons without him is completely uncalled for. Like, you cannot tell me that show was not still lit after he left. Like, it was clearly not as good, but, like, come on, it was funny. I still like the episodes in the last season.
So that goes with most shows once they change the main dynamic.
Like,
it's not the same. So, like, we've had this conversation before off the air, considering this is our 3rd episode. Scrubs, the last season of Scrubs,
didn't happen.
In most people's eyes, didn't happen. But if you watch it back, it's still funny. It's just not Scrubs.
Yeah.
So like the episodes of The Office are they still have their moments, but they just don't seem like The Office because of
my problem with
how it works.
With when Michael left, and we're kind of getting a little off topic here. As we're going, that's kind of was going to be.
When are we ever on topic?
That's true. Isn't
that our bit? Like the whole purpose of this?
Yeah, there's no fucking order to this shit.
I tried. Usually.
Watch your potty mouth, please.
This is my podcast, okay? I can say poop and
more
farts.
like potty mouth. Am I right?
Potty cast.
Go.
Wrap it up. We're not topping that one.
This episode of Previously Recorded is brought to you by
Michelob Ultra, the beer for runners who don't like to run and also like drinking beer.
All right, Michelob, that's your last free plug. You
All right, seriously, give us free beer, or we're done plugging you, but not necessarily giving you our $30 every 2 weeks.
Just say, Michelob, I got a Miller High Life sitting right here.
It's right here. I'm thinking about cracking it.
The ball is in your court.
It's the champagne of beers.
I'm just saying, we need a sponsor. We got some expenses we have to pay.
Yeah.
So that would be really nice.
Okay.
So we went through them. Do you want to just go through?
All right, so let's go.
Three?
Let's do this. Let's go.
Because we can't go.
Every person, minus myself, because I'm unprepared. We all is it agreed that Michael Scott is a 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, it has to be.
So now each of you give me your 2.
Kenda. All right.
Shane, go ahead.
Shane, you Kevin was your number 1. You just said.
But no, we've agreed that Michael is.
Okay.
So now Kevin is his 2, and who is your 3? No, Shane, give me 2 and 3.
Creed.
All right, Kevin Creed. RP.
Kevin Creed.
Oh, so I'm the only basic bitch in the house? I hate to do it, but, I'm sorry. I had to say Dwight and Jim.
Man.
All I'm saying is they're, everyone's kind of a main character, but, there would be no shenanigans without Jim and Dwight as well.
I agree with this, but can we make the argument that the Jim-Pam dynamic
sucks?
Is awful.
And Jim's only really funny with Dwight.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
All right. So while this is a complete sidebar, but while we're on this topic, because we may or may not get there at some point, what is your best Jim prank? Because if there is a good Jim moment,
when Jim wraps Dwight's desk in, he outlines the desk in the wrapping paper, and he sits down and it's just all wrapping paper.
Yeah, about this today. I would say faxes from Future
I was
Dwight.
just gonna say that.
I like it. Asian Jim.
Asian Jim
really fucks in my head a little bit. It's
underrated
so
Jim prank is the nickels in the phone.
Yes.
When he hits himself in the head.
He never really gets to do it though.
Oh, another one. We used to say, everyone called me Dwayne today. I think Jim put them up to it. He's like, yeah, I'd pay them all
$5. Worth it.
All right, so now here's my Jim argument: is that we said that it's still good after Michael leaves. When Michael leaves, the last 2 seasons, Jim is annoying.
Yep.
The whole Philly thing.
Yeah.
He's kind of a shitty husband and kind of a shitty father.
He's always throwing his daughter in everyone's face too.
Yeah.
That's my least favorite part of
Now, that being said, the idea of Shane's father looking at him like Jim looking into the camera when his mom says something ridiculous is hilarious.
My thing with Jim is I think if I worked in the office with Jim, I would think he was the biggest dick. I would not, the stuff he does is funny. It's a TV show to Dwight, but I would, if I was sitting across from him and seeing him doing this shit every day, I would think, wow, this guy's a real douche. What is he doing with his life?
But at the same time, you wouldn't think Dwight was a big douche and he deserved it.
Dwight's
so annoying.
We would bully
I would bully Dwight.
That's a difference.
This podcast does not support bullying.
I don't bullying, but I would bully him.
I'm a teacher. I condone it entirely.
All right, so we have our top 3.
Works.
We have our top 3 office characters.
This podcast is brought to you by Bob
I didn't give you my top.
That's right.
I didn't give you my top 3, and I'm going to go off the grid here. And I'm going to say...
Wait, you're not putting this in order, are you?
No, this is in no particular order.
He's just spitballing here.
I'm going to say that obviously Michael Scott is a great character. And after Michael Scott, I'm going to argue that Daryl Philbin is one of the most underrated characters on television. And then this is a very, very big stretch, but because he's not in a lot of episodes, at all, as far as the season goes. But you can't tell me that there's a time that Mose shows up that you don't laugh.
Bob, tell me what this says right here. That says underrated characters? What are those names?
Mine,
Cousin Mose, Creed, and Daryl.
My underrated character... Well, okay, we're doing it now. My underrated office character is Daryl. I feel like he's so funny.
I like him better in the warehouse versus when he
because he starts messing with Andy.
RP knows that my favorite line that Daryl ever says is when they go to see the musical. The play that Michael should have been in. And it's the very beginning. And he goes, Michael, If you don't listen to the overture, you won't understand
The
the underlying themes throughout the It's just such an underrated line.
So, guest, what is your underrated Office character?
I agree with Daryl.
He's so funny.
I like him better when he's up in the office.
I like him.
Though,
you get more
he
of him.
was, yeah, exactly. He wasn't around
I like him
as
in the
much
warehouse because that's when Michael's always coming down to
That's true.
be
That's
important.
true.
Daryl,
But he was like a little more mean when he was in the warehouse.
Yes.
Like he's always been like a bit of a hard ass, but even like when he's finally up in the office, he's kind of
One of my
a
favorite
friend.
one of my favorite things Michael's done is when Daryl broke his leg because Michael moved the ladder.
How's it hanging, Daryl?
Oh, that's funny as shit.
What about... All right, so this is another question office-wise before we get to the Parks and Rec aspect of this. In the waning seasons, a redeeming quality is Clark and Pete Miller. The interns that get jobs.
Blub
You
mean
or
Plop?
Plop.
Plop, yes, Plop. And,
I do love a good plop in both senses. But
I don't-
Clark,
is that a
no.
shit joke?
It
I don't know
is.
what that- okay.
It was.
Just making sure.
I love a
Not
good
a
shit.
normal thing for a female to say, but I like it.
No,
don't
anything
know me.
normal, yeah,
This
that's not coming out of her
episode
mouth.
brought to you by toilets everywhere.
If you need them.
Flush. I was trying to think of a toilet paper, but a Charmin. It
What?
could be Charmin as well.
Why was that so
I don't know.
hard?
Yeah, I don't know. At the time, I forgot toilet paper.
That's funny. Okay,
Scott's.
let's head to Scott Stotts.
All right, so you have your top three characters. We have Michael Scott,
We also
definitive number one, and then
we need our worst.
you have. All right, so let's hold on to that. Let's do top three characters, Parks and Rec. So RP, you say
You wanna give my three?
Let's go. No, let's go one around,
Okay.
and then we'll figure out if there's a definitive one like a Michael Scott, and if not, we'll figure out.
I
what
think
threes
the
are.
number one might be definitive in Andy as the number one.
I don't know.
I don't know.
He's not my one.
He's not
He's
my
my
one.
2.
I don't have a particular order, but he's
I-
not my
I don't
one.
either, but he's
See,
not my one.
I think
See, my
number
number
one is
one-
probably Ron.
Yeah.
My
Ron is-
one is a toss up between Ron and April.
Mm-mm.
April. You have
My top is Leslie. I just,
All right, so here's the thing,
I feel
and this is
I'm her.
Nerd.
This is me being a misogynist pig. I feel like females identify more with Leslie Knope, whereas for me, Leslie gets annoying at times.
Well, she is.
I just really
Really,
identify
She
with
is also a
Leslie.
female.
She's very like Leslie. It's not just
No,
that
like
things
not
go-
just being a girl. Like
She's very much like
I
Leslie.
really feel her.
You're a politician in Indiana?
Okay, besides that.
Okay.
She's
I'm
a
just
little-
making sure. I'm
She's
just
She's a
making
little
sure.
firecracker. I love that bitch.
Yeah, she's great. So all right, so there's the number one.
I'm
The
not
number
using
one-
derogatory. Leslie would not like me to call her that.
That's not feminism.
That's derogatory.
It's
That's not feminism. I'm
That's it.
sorry,
It's the
Leslie.
last podcast.
That's
you
as
invited
feminism
That's
as
it.
giving Ron the Feminist of the Year award.
Classic.
All right, so this is a debate then. We got to settle who's the number one Parks and Rec character.
All right,
After
so
I guess you
I
hear
think
the
you
rest.
already lost.
I did.
Yeah.
Because Andy is probably the funniest character.
Oh, yeah.
Shit.
Like moment by moment.
I love when
Yeah.
he's talking
But
about the
Andy-
Expendables.
And
The sixth time, it's just not a good movie.
the first 2 seasons, Andy's not necessarily redeemable.
I was gonna say I don't
No,
like.
you
him
kind
in
of
the
feel bad
first.
for
Yeah.
Andy.
He
Yeah,
wasn't
'cause he's
supposed
such
to
a
even.
little
He was
jerk-off.
supposed to just be one and done kind of thing.
Exactly,
For the season,
yeah.
and they
So-
loved him so much they
Fan
brought him
favorite,
back. Yeah.
It's like it's hard.
But
But
the
Andy's
scene where
growth.
he's got double casts on his legs and he's chasing that guy with his speaker naked.
Oh my gosh.
Hilarious.
Andy's growth
Andy's
is awesome when
amazing.
he's in
Yeah.
England.
Yeah.
Like, when he's like
Oh, he's
come
like-
that far.
He's like, oh, so you lost all that weight by not drinking beer? He's like, how much beer are you drinking?
Apparently a
apparently
lot.
a All right, so we have that's my number one. We have Shane's number one. We have Amanda's number one. Bob, your number one
It's Ron.
is Ron
Mhm.
Swanson. Okay.
Majority rules.
I
it's
could
wrong.
agree on that.
All right, so we have-
It's Ron was my number two, so like it's
Yeah.
not really like hard to say. It's like my Parks and Rec was
See, the
harder
thing
for me
is-
to rank a top 3 characters than The Office.
Thing is, I did
Yeah.
not put these in any particular order.
That's
Guys,
so
That's
true.
not your
Listen.
bit.
What I need you guys to understand is that is trademarked. And-
That's his bitch.
This podcast is brought to you by Sweetums.
Also, this
You can't beat
podcast
'em,
is brought to you
Sweetums.
by the Patent Agency of the United States, where no particular order is owned by Robert Boyd.
There's an
So
underrated
get
character
back
for
the
you.
fuck off.
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd, yeah.
I forget his name.
Yeah, he's
Bobby?
this Bobby
Bobby-
Sweetums.
Bobby Newport?
Bobby
Bobby
Newport.
Newport.
Bobby Newport, yeah, the Sweetums guy. All right, so your number 2 then,
Is that Andy?
Andy,
I also had Andy.
and I had Ron.
Cheers to that.
So it looks like definitely
All right,
Ron
so
has
Ron number one.
Ron has to be number one.
Yeah.
I agree.
And the thing with Ron is, and I think this is why he becomes number one, is that like Leslie, he's redeemable when you like him and you root for him, but he's also such a dick that it's funny at times, and then at the same time, he shows that like soft, like he's
very relatable
for everyone. He's like the dad you never wanted to have that you also always wanted to have.
But he's also like
you
the
know
dad of all of them, but
you.
doesn't want to be the
Exactly.
dad, but still takes care of
He's
them.
gonna take care of you, but he's gonna hate every aspect of taking care of you.
Yeah.
I think he's the most diverse character because especially in the beginning, you don't really know how to get a feel for him because he is such like a hard ass, and as the episodes go on, you kind of see how like
All right, so
caring he actually is.
If we establish Ron as your one, so now readjust your list, possibly put them in no particular order.
They were never in.
Who are your? Let's go 2 and 3 again.
Well, 2 would have to be Andy.
Andy.
Andy's definitely.
All right,
Andy.
is that Andy across the board for 2?
It
Yeah.
is.
Lock it in.
Love Chris Pratt.
So you went from you just went from Leslie Knope being number 1 to not having.
I mean, I
in
was
the
gonna-
top 2.
I was gonna fight for her for 3. Okay, but listen here.
Soft.
Is
Listen
she
here,
the
folks.
funniest?
It
I
doesn't-
never- it doesn't
no, it
matter.
doesn't
We're
matter.
not
She's
going
the
by
funny- We're
funniest.
going
At
best
times.
character.
She's is her.
Hey,
We're
favorite.
listen,
going by who I like the best.
Flu episode, Leslie's absolutely the
Oh,
funniest.
oh,
the
amazing.
Flu episode and I forget
The
episode,
filibuster.
The filibuster on the roller skates. I was gonna say the roller skating episode is a great episode.
I will say I didn't like Amy Poehler until I started watching Parks and
I
Rec.
don't like
anyway.
Amy Poehler in anything else.
Um,
She's not my Miles Teller of the week, but I don't like her in anything else.
That hurts me a lot. I think
know.
she's.
I never was.
I
a
like
fan.
her. I like her now. I like her
Saturday
now.
Night Live on occasion, but most of the
I-
time
no,
She
it
was
wasn't.
good
I
as the,
loved
I
the
appreciate-
weekly update. Was
yeah.
that her?
That's what I'm saying. On
Her
occasion,
team
I
thing.
liked her, but it wasn't like consistent.
I appreciate her now.
I
think
actually
she's super
didn't
funny
watch
now.
Parks and Rec originally because I was like, I don't want to fucking watch an Amy Poehler show.
I watched that first.
I watched it, but the first 2 seasons weren't great.
The first season isn't.
Let's get
the
back to
best.
that.
You know,
Yeah,
let's
you
come
have
back
to
to
warm
that.
up
Let's
to
get
it.
back. So,
All right, so now we need 3.
Three.
Andy across the board.
All right, Amanda, you can start number
I
3.
will fight for Leslie. I do love
Well,
April Shane,
We're
but I
not
will
even
fight for
arguing
Leslie.
yet because right now
Oh,
you don't
April-
have it. You
April
guys
is
don't have
tied
a
to
top
number 1
3
for me.
characters.
That's true.
I'm not budging on that.
Who?
April's
April-
tied as my number 1. I don't care about your list. That's my list.
But this is the definitive list.
No, we
fine.
don't have.
Have
All
your
right, then we have to get your characters out because we haven't finished the Office characters.
That's true.
We don't
Well,
have
we
a
did
1,
the
2, and 3
and
for
three.
that. No, because she's Dwight and Jim, and you guys have Kevin and Creed.
True. All right, you're right.
I could budge on that.
And my
though.
list is in no particular order, so who gives a fuck?
No,
All
it's
right,
mine.
so your 3,
Tom.
Tom. My 3 was a tosser,
Tommy Fresh.
and I struggled. It's
Wait, so you
between.
dropping April out.
No, I told you she's tied.
She's one. It doesn't fucking matter
I
what
don't
happens.
care.
Gotcha.
I don't
What
care
you
what you
say.
say.
Gotcha.
My number 3 is between. I couldn't
You know when
decide.
she's number 1, Bob?
In your heart. Yeah.
Mm.
Number 1 in the program's number 1 in your heart.
Who's your number 3?
My number 3 is between April and Tom.
Why Tom?
I
Why are
love
we doing
Tom.
that?
Hilarious.
What?
Tom.
Spaghetti, long ass rice.
Okay, I do love that.
Tom's lines are excellent.
He's
Sandwiches.
Is
Tom
Tom-
Sandler's.
Take out his lines.
Yeah.
His facial expressions of how he reacts to everything is fantastic.
is
I
Tom a
know,
role
but
model?
I also
No.
hate him. Like I love
Entertainment
to hate him.
720. Yeah, no, he's infuriating, but he's
Yeah.
just so adorable.
No, he's not adorable. I think he's very funny.
He's adorable. Yes, he's
but
adorable. He's very
I
small.
Just, yeah, he is small.
Like,
But I just
physically,
think
he's
my
adorable.
annoyance just can't be. It doesn't
What-
overcome that.
What about
Like,
Tom annoys you?
That he's Indian, that's racist.
Amanda, we do not
Yeah.
promote
Guys.
racism on this
It's
show.
not the kind of
Guys.
show we're running here.
Jeez.
Because right now, if we
We gotta
look at our,
screen these guests.
if we look at our lists right now,
Comes
we have a lot of white men.
okay,
We
I
need
want that
some
to be known.
diversity.
Leslie was my diversity. She's a woman.
Well, she's not on the list as of now, so why don't you make
That's
Leslie
rude.
your number 3?
Regardless, I don't know what it is about Tom.
I tried
He
to
just
say,
is
and then you guys
too-
weren't
like his
having it.
personality. Like if I put myself in that workspace, I would despise him. Like he would be so irritating. I don't have the patience.
So he's
for
your
that.
Jim.
Yeah.
But I'm not in the
Yeah,
workspace. I'm
I
a
But
don't
Jim
have
was
the
Jim was one of your
patience
top
for that.
3.
I just enjoy his shenanigans. I'm
Yeah.
not in the
Okay,
office.
again,
Contradicting.
it was loose. Everything that I have on this list.
Amanda,
loose.
you are not loose.
I don't pick favorites.
Yeah, have some self-respect.
I don't. That is Gross. I do not pick
Gross.
Gross. Mop it up.
I'm stressed. I don't know how to pick a favorite. I don't have a favorite fruit. I don't have a favorite color.
Okay.
I don't have a favorite anything. So you try to make me choose characters and stuff. I don't know.
You have a favorite
like everyone.
parent?
No. I just love everyone.
All right,
and I also hate everyone.
That's true.
Continue.
Sticking with the theme where I pick characters who are absolutely not in the top 3.
So basically, Amanda's just here just to comment
Yes,
because she
she's
cannot
she's
give
gonna
her
judge.
definitive.
No, I cannot.
I'm gonna kind of agree with Andy, but I'm in my top 3 somewhere. There needs to be a fight for either Jean-Ralphio.
Oh my god.
Jean-
Or-
Ralphio.
Why'd you call him Jean?
Because
That's how it's spelled.
That's how
Yeah, it
that's
is.
how he says it sometimes too. Or Craig Middlebrooks.
Oh, I love
I
Craig.
love Craig.
I'm looking up last names right now.
I
don't know last names. That's
I would
the only reason
also
I'm
like
looking.
to add Jeremy Jam to that.
You
No.
just got Jam.
Guys, he's on my worst character list. Why
Really?
did you do that?
Nah.
He's so infuriating,
Craig?
but he's so
No.
funny.
Craig,
No, I can
Craig
do
and
that.
the dog
Jam.
episode is unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
Like the few episodes that Craig is on are incredible, and I feel
All
like he has to be up there.
So those are our 3. We have to decide.
We don't have
I
a
don't
3.
think we're gonna get a list out of this.
All right,
It's
so
too-
get
too
me.
much to
All right,
beat.
so
those. But if we're going to compare Office to Parks and Rec characters,
You
those are
need
the
to give
those
it-
are the
all
ones
right, so-
top
we
three.
all right,
can
so
use
who are your 3?
for the Office or for Parks and
For
Rec.
both.
Screw you, Mr.
So for
Ultra.
so for the
Yeah, get us a sponsor at Champagne from here on out.
We drinking. Miller
I don't want
High
to drink
Life
this,
now.
Michelob. You're forcing this on me right now.
You did this.
You did this to yourself, okay? I guess we got to go with, if we're going with The Office, we definitely Michael at number 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
We lock him in at number 1. We lock in Kevin at 2. And
Do you agree?
3.
All right, Amanda, do you agree with this? Because you went Dwight and Jim.
Well, who would we be putting for
They went
3?
Kevin
I would
Creed.
say
I
Dwight
could I
for
could
3.
put Dwight at 3.
Okay.
So
Okay. I
Kevin,
can totally
Dwight,
work with that. Yeah.
And then Creed is the underrated.
Yeah.
I would say that.
Of course.
All right.
Now, while we're at that, who's the worst?
In The Office?
Okay.
Easy.
Is it? I picked a lot.
I have a couple down here.
Okay, great. So I have
Alright, so figure out
Gabe
your
in
worst.
parentheses gross.
Yep,
He is
yep,
gross.
yep.
Gabe?
Gabe.
Gross.
Gabe,
Just
gross.
gross.
He's
That's
the
all I
worst.
have to say.
Todd Packer.
Oh, don't
I
even.
love Todd
I didn't
Packer.
even
I
think
told
about
you
that.
Kate
that.
Packer, Kathy, bitch. Only in like a season, bitch.
Wait, you know who's number 1 worst though? Charles Minor.
Oh, I forgot about him.
I love Idris
Ooh,
Elba. He
no.
grinds my gears.
No.
in.
The volleyball
What
episode?
Oh no. And I have a bit like a little controversy right here with this one. Maybe.
Let
Who
it out.
knows?
Let it out.
If we're talking
about
like
controversy,
well, if we're talking more like permanent and present characters, like Phyllis is
I
kind of
hate
useless.
Phyllis.
Phyllis is
Phyllis
useless.
is the worst. The worst.
Worst.
She is the freaking worst. She's such a bitch.
I don't think she's a bitch, but I
She's
just
so
think that
bitchy.
if she was just gone from like a full
It'd be
season,
fine.
I would not
I
notice.
disagree.
Like
it
I thought it was
matter.
funny when
Disagree.
Dwight dropped her off in the middle of nowhere. I was like, that's what she. I don't
she
like
yeah,
her.
but like,
Back.
so here's the episode that always gets me with Phyllis because I want to hate Phyllis, but
I
then
wanna
there's the
hate her.
episode where Jim takes Phyllis and Stanley out to lunch, and they just make him do everything.
Oh
And
yeah.
at the end, she's like,
We got
"We
you
were
back.
always gonna
We
take
love
care of you."
She's
And that's like that. So it's like I can't hate her.
she's got that mother goose,
She
but she's
does.
also just like a huge. Like she could be a huge bitch too. And
I
it's
don't
just,
get a bitch vibe.
really.
I
don't
just
know.
think she's
When
she-
useless.
I like actually just
when-
watched the episode
when Pam
where
and
she
Jim-
calls she calls Angela out for fucking Dwight while
love
she's
that.
engaged to Andy, and it's like, yeah, good, you should.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Angela
like
the
that's
bitch.
good.
Like, she has moments where I'm like, oh yeah, you're not that bad. If anything,
Also
Meredith
disagree.
is worse than Phyllis.
I love Angela.
I
You
really
do?
like Angela.
I love Angela.
I think she's
I
hilarious.
like her, but
Oh, God,
she's a
she's
bitch.
pain in the ass. I think she's funny. Like there's stuff she does, it's funny. But like my thing with Phyllis is like an example is when Pam and Jim start dating, and she's like comes back and is like, remember to give clients to people you're not just sleeping with, and it's just like
Unnecessary.
that's
Like,
why we
shut
didn't tell
up.
anyone. So the worst character is always going to be up for debate. There's never going to be a single
What about
worst
Roy?
character. No, I'm alright with Roy.
All right.
Can we throw Jan into the mix?
Oh,
Can't stand
Jan is
Jan.
mad.
Can't
we-
stand her.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna put Jan in there
No.
because of the comedy that comes out of.
That's true.
Yeah.
Echo Love.
Ass turd.
Oh,
Good job.
I love Esther.
Just the dinner party episode.
Babe,
That's in my top.
That's in my top episode list.
Oh my god.
Great.
It's
Him,
a
I'm
great
not
episode.
sure, but she might
I
have
bought this
poisoned your food.
I bought this plasma screen TV.
I
Can
can
you
stand
stop dipping
here.
your steak
And I
in your
know
wine?
Karen
You
was
know I have
only in
salty.
like 2 seasons,
Yeah, I didn't
but
like
Karen,
Karen.
goodbye.
Yeah.
And Perkins, love her. But
Karen
Filippelli,
Filippelli.
All right,
gotta
so
go.
who is your?
And
You,
over
you
Ken.
gotta
Oh,
give
yeah.
me one. Who's your worst?
You know who was really bad too when Andy. When Andy first starts,
I have that
he
Andy
is
as no. I have
so
Andy
bad.
as manager.
Oh yeah,
That's
he's
bad. Yeah. When Andy
He starts
comes
off
back
bad.
Again,
when he
Andy
comes
and
back
Joey.
from
Andy as
annoying
manager
shit.
leads to some very funny
he comes
moments.
back from
He comes
anger,
back.
Matt. He's
Yeah.
good.
When he goes away and he's on that vacation forever.
Yeah.
Like that's funny.
Mm.
The
It's just him
episode,
and the
the
hangover.
episode right before he goes to anger management, where
Wait.
Jim puts
Puts
his phone in the ceiling.
The
And then he-
That's
Rockin'
one
Around
of Jim.
freaking funny.
Stop.
That's one of Jim's pranks that if I was in the office,
That's
I
his
would
best
really enjoy.
non-Dwight prank. I think.
Yeah.
Also, Andy, early Andy, when they go out to the school, when they have the
Beer me.
watermark,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Beer me that CD." But he also he's in the principal's office, and he's like, "Some of your students are kind of bitchy."
Because his girlfriend goes to
girlfriend
high school.
goes to high
All right, so we have our top 3 for the office.
All right,
right?
but you need your worst, so you need to figure out a worst.
The worst, I think.
You haven't. You've named 16 characters,
There's a lot
but
of
there's
bad.
no
There's a
one.
lot of bad.
You gotta
I-
figure out who do you hate the most.
I get really annoyed when Todd Packer's on.
Love Todd Packer.
Yeah, but is Todd Packer the worst? Like, I feel like your worst
feel
should
like
be
he's
Robert
bad,
California.
I feel like your worst should be more prevalent. Like Robert California's
See-
in there more.
Yeah, he's so annoying.
I forget his name. Who's Robert California?
James Spader.
That pisses me off because Robert California sucks, but I love James Spader, so I feel like he was wasted.
Do you think that Robert California is actually Ultron?
No definitive proof.
I've never seen the two
Yes,
in
In
the same room.
room. Okay, fair enough. The worst. Do you want to limit the worst to the people that are in the office?
I would
almost
say
every
I would
episode?
say the worst should be on more than one season.
Okay.
I'd
If
have
you
to
want to
go
give,
Yeah.
I'd
if
have
you
to
want-
go with Gabe.
Yeah, Gabe's
the worst.
funny though because he's so
No.
weird.
But he,
Gabe
It
is not
freaks me
funny.
out.
He's
I mean,
gross.
if we're gonna do
Gabe
this,
himself sucks, but them fucking with Gabe is hilarious.
Aaron's kind of annoying.
Yeah, she is.
I like Aaron.
I like her, but yeah, she's annoying.
She's
Her
annoying.
and Andy are the worst
Yeah,
too.
they're
I
really bad.
freaking hate them.
I don't like Aaron, but when Aaron is with Michael, I like Aaron.
Oh, they're sweet.
I don't like
Yeah.
Kelly.
Oh, I love Kelly.
No,
Kelly
if I'm
Kapoor,
looking-
the business
Kelly
bitch.
is.
If I'm looking at a character list like I am
Especially
currently,
Kelly
I don't
and
like
Ryan.
Kelly.
Fashion show,
Ryan.
fashion show at lunch. I love Kelly.
Ryan's fine
Ryan,
Ryan's
until
awful, but
he's such a dick.
No,
after he comes back.
But Ryan's
from,
funny,
Yeah,
though.
when Ryan's on drugs, it's great.
Yeah, but then after he comes back from being corporate, he's just a douche.
Yeah, it's funny though because Michael loves him.
Sucks. Let's
the
see.
hot one.
That one.
Hottest in the office. Dundee Award.
All right,
goes
let's
to-
figure this out
Yeah.
right now.
We're not talking about the
If
hottest.
we're
in the
going
office.
worst, we're
I'm
going
either
worst.
going Gabe or Phyllis. Someone narrow that down for me. I don't pick. I can't do this. I'm stressed.
I still hate Charles Miner the most.
I do.
He
hate
is
him.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
could.
we can make
He's
it.
I
such
can
a
agree on
dickhead.
that.
I don't know.
He's
I'm
he's a
I'm
dick.
torn
And
between
he's
him and Gabe.
technically on 2 seasons, right?
Here's your problem, though. He's on 7 total episodes. He's only in 09. But here's your problem with Charles Miner is that you're supposed to hate Charles Miner.
Yeah, it's true.
You're not necessarily supposed to hate some of these other characters.
All right, I guess my vote's for Gabe then.
Gabe.
Yeah.
Like,
You
hating
don't do
Charles Miner is like hating Joffrey from Game of Thrones.
Mm,
That's exactly what they
don't.
fucking want you to do.
Don't. I'm boiling. Yeah.
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 Alright,
Yeah.
All right, I'm
so,
in there.
All right, now
are we
let's.
going
now-
Gabe?
And we got Gabe's fine
Gabe's
with
the
me.
worst
So
episode?
now we gotta go
Or
with
Gabe's the
what?
worst character?
And
So
now we just
now
gotta
we
get
need,
the underrated.
we need your...
The
That
underrated.
underrated was Creed.
Creed.
You had already
Fair.
established
So
that.
we
So
call
you
him-
need your top 2. You have Ron Swanson for Parks and Rec.
Andy at number 2, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Alright.
Didn't we do it?
We did
Parks and
Andy
Rec?
at
Yes,
number.
yeah,
Yeah.
But
So
you
Ron
haven't
and Andy,
established the 3.
We haven't done the worst or underrated. I think.
No,
You
we
haven't
didn't
done
get a
any of
third.
Yeah, we didn't get a
So you
third.
need to figure out your 3rd.
Leslie.
We've talked for Leslie and make an argument for why Leslie should be number 3.
I mean, honestly, I had her. I mean, in no particular order, but I had her at number 1. So I'm just saying, you can't.
You were
can't
going to
have-
get so sued after this
You
episode.
can't have Parks without Leslie. Not saying that she's like the Michael Scott of it, but she is supposed
It
to.
is similar to
be the
not
Michael
having
Scott.
Michael Scott.
It
in
is
your list.
like
If she
without
wasn't
her charisma, like her passion, her spirit for like the job and what she does, nothing would get done. The show wouldn't work.
it's true.
I love her.
Now, That's a solid point, and it's hard to argue because we got it.
What if I
Best
say
character? Like I said, these are character-driven
Leslie's the
shows.
worst character on Parks.
Amanda might jump over the table and fight you.
Luckily, we're catty corner, so she won't have to go far.
That's true.
Don't spill my Miller High Life, because this podcast is brought to you by Miller High Life, the champagne of beers.
Unless Michelob wants to sponsor us.
Hey,
we're still taking offers.
We're still available.
All right.
Natty Light, we don't have any of you, but we're open.
Amanda made a solid argument. The only counter argument that I could have against, not I would say Leslie, but counter argument another character
is that she's a woman, and we don't support that.
That's the end of this episode.
Ooh, so we're gonna edit that out, right?
Because right now we're at 5 white males for The Office, 2 white males for Parks and Rec.
You know,
because that's not our fault. They need to diversify their shows a little bit.
Come on, NBC.
We're going
together. Peacock's got a lot of colors on it.
Who's the real racist here?
RP.
It's Patrice.
God damn it, Patrice.
I will
I hope they remember.
Piggyback on that argument and say that show does not happen and does not work without Leslie. You need order.
Make Leslie your third.
Thank you.
All right.
Underrated character.
I had Jerry Gergich.
Jerry
Larry.
I love him. Barry.
Janice Snakehole.
Gary.
Don't even care that that's April.
He needs April to be in this list.
Wait, what about Burt Macklin?
Okay.
Johnny Karate.
But for real.
Johnny Karate is better.
But for real, my underrated is Mona Lisa Saperstein.
No. Absolutely not.
Why not?
You didn't tell me to prepare an underrated
Mona Lisa
character, but I would say Donna.
Mona Lisa Saperstein can't be the worst.
Treat yourself.
She can't, because it just fits her character too much for her to be the worst.
The worst! All right, so my underrated was Jerry, and the worst was Mark.
I think Ben's underrated.
Can we just agree that Mark's the worst and move on from that?
Yes, Mark.
I did have Mark.
Hates Brandano.
That's done.
Mark gets his bad rep.
But I also had Mona Lisa and Jan.
Doesn't matter.
Mark
is
Mark was on there. So.
Disagree.
All right, so I think we have
underrated. We have to argue though.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of characters in that show. Jerry's underrated.
I do love him.
Yes, he is.
I think that
I also had
Ben Wyatt is actually
Ben Wyatt. Chris Traeger.
Chris Traeger's underrated.
Literally.
Like Ben Wyatt is probably the most relatable character on that show.
To us, at least.
Because he's a nerd.
Yes. When he sits in that Game of Thrones chair, that's literally all of us at this table.
I know I'm making the face right now, but I don't care.
Yeah. This is the best gift I've ever been given.
Cones of
Dunshire.
Him never being able to keep a job is hilarious.
When he keeps going to work for the accountants and he keeps quitting.
I have a underrated character. Barney. I love Barney. Barney! The guy in the accountant's office!
Barney's in like 4 episodes, so I don't think he
I don't care, I love him.
One of my underrated characters is only in 1 episode, though.
Who is it?
Carl Lorthner. It's Andy Samberg.
Oh, underrated character? Okay. Donna. We all agree. Can we all agree?
I don't agree with Donna.
Okay, well, it's Donna.
Character. I'm just kidding. I'll take Donna as the underrated character.
She's
fine.
a Donna.
Spoiler, it's already typed into my laptop. So
she treats herself.
Whatever you guys say doesn't matter because I already typed it in. And
all right, so Donna is
whatever's on this screen is the most important part of the podcast.
Donna is the underrated character.
All right, so good job, guys. We have
that was
an American woman as part of this list.
No racism.
Equality.
Yes. You know, hey, RP, that thing that you said beforehand about how this is going to be all about white males, we went against that. So now that's
this is the end of previously recorded. Did not say that.
So, top 5 Office episodes, anyone?
All right, top 5. Shane, go ahead.
Number 1, Michael grills his foot. Number 2,
the injury, it's called.
Yep.
Yes.
Number 2, the fight. Dwight fights Michael.
Okay.
At his dojo.
And
then number 3 is the 2-parter, Stress Relief, where Stanley has a heart attack, and then they do the roast.
Shane's top 3. Injury, fight, stress relief. No dinner
2-parter
party.
counts as 1.
No, it doesn't.
No dinner party.
I have that written down, but I had to pick 3, so.
Okay. So
I also had to get rid of.
Don't worry, girl.
Wait, because I have honorable mentions. Pretzel Day.
You just really relate to pretzels.
But I also had to take out when Michael was Survivor Man.
Okay.
That was a great
All right,
one.
so Shane's is the injury, the fight, stress relief. The 2-parter will allow both parts. Amanda, what are your top 3?
I also had the injury.
Okay.
Dinner party.
These top 3 are they RP? Are these top 3 in
No.
any particular order?
No.
Just wanted to make sure.
Also, I know that you made me say 3, but I'm not going to. It's a toss-up between Fun Run and Threat Level Midnight, and don't tell me that I can't pick 4 because I'm going to pick 4 and
If
I'm not going
you
to. No.
try to pick 4, none of them.
No.
That's it. You only get
If
2.
you try to
No.
pick 4, The Office
No,
never
because
existed.
Shane got... No.
And
Shane's
this
counting.
whole podcast
Shane's
doesn't
counting.
matter.
Get out
It's
of
a
here.
two-parter.
No,
Hey,
it's a
get out
two-parter.
of here.
Threat
Satan.
level.
You can't have one without the other.
Satan.
Can't have one without the other.
I don't
Threat
think
Level
that
Midnight
thing
and the Fun Run
Level
are not
Midnight.
related at all.
I think they are. So those are my top 4. Thanks for asking what my top 4 were.
4. My top 5, 4,
And
whatever.
RP gets 5. Goodbye.
What?
I mean, he runs
I
the
thought
show.
it was 3. I do run
get
the
He
show.
top
bought,
3
he bought
and
all
2
the
honorable
equipment, so
mentions.
he could have a top 60 if he really wants to, but we're not stopping it.
Every episode.
This is on his laptop.
Yeah.
He can just add in whatever the fuck he wants at the end.
So your top 5?
The injury
Yeah.
as number 1. That
we
is
all
the
agree.
funniest
Yeah, it's
episode with Michael burning his foot and comparing it to a head injury.
Also, I love
Wait, when Dwight pukes... First, all right,
Yeah.
let's do this right now. When Dwight pukes in the car, and since this is the Parks and Rec comparison, when Andy and the Snake Juice episode, which we all know is going to be in everybody's top 3, pukes on... what's the guy's name with shoes he shines? Todd or whatever fucking his name is.
Always.
And he fucking
Isn't it
pukes on...
Kyle?
Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle. When he
yeah.
pukes on his shoes, for some reason, puking in either of these shows makes me laugh every time.
Yeah, it's
Dwight
brilliant.
puking on his car and then getting back in and driving away is hilarious.
I also love the callback to the grill in the bachelor party.
Oh,
Where he's
yeah.
he's like, "Is this the same grill you grilled your foot on?" He's like, "I got all
I
the foot
tried
parts
it.
off."
Okay, so that's my number 1. Number 2 is
Brought to
Dinner
my
Party,
Mhm.
Back.
which is,
Dinner
I think,
Party?
just a standard.
Yeah.
Have to be up there. The Dundies as number 3. Because I feel God in this Chili's tonight.
Oh, so.
And RP gets
Honorable
5
mentions.
because we can't tell him no.
I mean, we're in his house.
I mean, I can give you 4 if you want me to give you 4.
Everybody
go
else
for
is
it.
giving me 4. So.
The murder. There's been
Oh, there's
a
been
murder.
a murder.
I
in
do
Savannah.
What
We're-
province is he from?
declare. He's from Sesame Street, dumbass.
All right, and while we're on The Office, now give me your worst episode of The Office.
Scott Tots.
Picked word. Yeah,
That's the
absolutely.
most
Scott-
cringeworthy episode for sure.
No.
No, I can't
Obviously.
watch it. I skip it.
It's
I really
bad.
do. I can't.
Oh yeah, I've rewatched The Office several times. No,
I skip it. No.
All right.
Or at least skip that.
Yeah.
So
singing.
now
Yeah.
let's go reverse order. Really switch things up here. You know, let's get crazy like a cyclone. RP, what are your top 3 Parks and Recs episodes? I don't know if I pluralized that in the right spot.
My top 3. I love the Harvest episode, season 3. The Little Sebastian episode.
Yep,
The
that
Little
was in mine.
Sebastian Memorial. Yep.
Bye.
Bye,
Little
Liz.
Yeah. Number 1. It's probably Snake Juice. That's the best.
Yeah.
That's the funniest episode.
I don't even have that on my list.
Really?
Wow.
When they all get
It
trashed
is
at the
my
end, it's
favorite.
hilarious.
It is funny.
Just Ron drunk dancing just heals.
I
that.
love that. But also, I was prepared for
Ron
top
hungover the
episodes and
next day
top
is really
moments.
good.
So if
Oh, yeah.
I didn't
We
make
have
an
top
episode,
moments coming.
okay,
We
I
have
made
top
it a
moments
coming.
moment, not an episode.
So
Don't worry.
now RP gave his in reverse order. Amanda, what are your top 3?
I also have Lil Sebastian. I'm not doing this in any order. Because
Is it
just
in a
none.
particular order at
no,
all?
it is just not.
Better fucking not be.
Yeah.
I love the trial of Leslie Knope.
That is
Especially
good.
when she makes that video of her and Ben in a world where 2, I don't know, Pawnee employees, whatever. I just love it. Okay. My last one.
You know, it's actually a really good episode since I'm not weighing in on this one. But it's like not necessarily as funny, but it's also funny. I don't even know what it's called. The episode where Ben wants to do like the very vindictive publicity ad, like the political ad, and
Yeah.
Leslie
Leslie's is
doesn't, so she
amazing.
films her own, and it's
Bobby
awful.
Newport.
He's never
And the Bobby
had
Newport,
a real
yeah.
job in
And then
his
she actually
life.
makes a really good
Bobby
ad. That's
Newport.
yeah, just them trashing Bobby Newport is hilarious.
I think my third
Why would you do that so mean?
My
Did you-
third
I
is
voted for
either
you
Ted
when he walks
Day
out.
or Leslie and Ron when they get locked in the room because I like
Yes.
the we didn't start the fire.
Yeah,
it
that's
just
one
gets
of that's
me.
one of my top moments.
Guys, we completely missed an underrated character. Heard Happily.
No.
I
No.
heard happen. It's the it's.
Fucking love
Have you
that.
heard? We've heard.
No.
Oh, the worst character, the talk show host. She is horrible.
We already established the Mark Brandon.
Joan Calamezzo.
Joan Calamezzo.
That's true.
Yeah,
It is Mark.
Mark is the worst character.
Yeah, we're
That
not
show
going
gets
back.
so much better when
episode
you
Should've done more
two,
research,
we
guys.
got left.
I went Shane.
My favorite episodes?
Yeah, 3-1.
Obviously, Snake Juice. Time Capsule.
Hmm.
I
Just 'cause-
had that on mine as
Yeah,
well.
love that episode. And it's either going to be the episode where Tom crashes his car and he's not allowed to look at screens,
That's a good
Yes.
one.
or when Jerry lies about being mugged, but he actually fell picking up a burrito.
All right, so give me one.
Tom with the screens.
Hmm.
It's a great one.
It is.
And now, what is your worst Parks and Rec episode?
Any episode with Mark Brandon would say, man.
That's true.
Fuck that guy. I don't know.
Hey, what
I
actor
didn't
played
pick
Mark
one.
Brandon? He might be the Miles Teller of the week.
He's
Oh,
probably
God.
done nothing else because he
Yeah.
sucks.
I don't
let's kill him
have
in
a
his skin.
bad episode.
I
for
don't
Parks. Yeah.
I can't think of a bad one.
I can't think. It's not as fresh as.
There aren't any episodes that when they're on, they skip it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
There
no.
isn't.
All right, so guys, this is a very definitive thing right now.
Probably
Considering
something
we're going
in the
head to
first
head,
season.
and you can't give me a
Hold on.
bad episode.
There's stuff from the first season for
Yeah,
sure.
because that was a little
still
more
finding
boring
itself
than the other
and-
ones.
and what have you. So,
All right, so we'll just list this right now as first season nonsense, right? Just some of the things in the first season. All right, so now we have our episode situation. What's your next, RP? What's the next thing we need to figure out for the two before we start to
best
put them
moments.
side to side?
Best moments.
All right, so
Wait, I have the worst episode.
what is it?
Boys Club.
Mm.
When all the guys are hanging out on the patio and Leslie's like out there trying to like be one of
And
them.
then she puts herself on trial because she opened Wine and Cheese.
Yeah. That shit
I don't
sucks.
hate that one, but
I literally just googled worst Parks and Rec episodes and it's all the first season.
yeah, I was gonna say first season's a little more boring.
First season
than
is-
the other
is-
All
ones.
right, so let's
rough.
give me. You get one. Everybody gets one.
One moment
Your top moment.
I only get one.
from The
You
Office.
get one moment
Shit.
that like doesn't get old.
Uh,
You could watch it 1,000 times. We're gonna do Office first, then Parks and Rec.
Office. Oh, Office is easy.
No, it's
maybe when Michael hits Meredith with his car.
That's the one. Is that your go?
That's
is that
my-
it?
Top moment.
I mean,
Can we
my-
have two, please? Because I have two
Yeah, I
really
can
good
have
ones.
Kevin in the chili.
All right. So is that
Can
your
Can we just
second?
all right? Can we
That's
just
my
agree
first,
that that's
actually.
an amazing moment, and then we don't have to put it on our list?
Yeah.
Okay, I have a better one then.
Okay. Well, I have a lot of them, but if I had to narrow it down, when he's trying to parallel park in a spot fit for two cars and goes, nope, not gonna make this one. It's like 3 seconds long, but I could never get sick of it.
And, you get two now because RP got two.
Okay, perfect. I love parkour, but
Parkour.
that's amazing. But I also can never get sick of the lazy Scranton rap.
Oh, that's a
Sitting
good one.
in my office with a plated grilled bacon. Call my man Dwight just to see what we're shaking.
Yo, Dwight.
Up, down,
All right,
don't
Shane,
forget
what are your
pudding.
top while they continue to rap? While the whitest people I know continue to
So I get
rap on
two,
this
right?
podcast. You get
So
two.
we're agreeing that chili
Chili
is
is in
great. It
there.
doesn't have
Well,
to be
chili's
on
already
No,
in
it's
It's
just
kind of the thing I do
it's
the
just
best.
Okay. So when the GPS takes him into the lake.
Mm. Michael, no!
This isn't a road, Michael. The machine knows. And it's not a funny moment, but when Michael is Dwight's surprise best man.
Yeah.
I think we also have
That's a
to
good
throw in there
That's a good
Goodbye
one.
Michael.
Yes.
All right,
Yeah.
so we'll put that in just as its own moment, and so we'll figure out what is like a moment that everybody agrees on for Parks and Rec.
I already have it. Let's not.
Office wise, I like Jim fake proposing for a while, like the
That's
one where he
Size
goes,
issue.
Pam,
Will you wait for me?
would
while
you
I tie
would you
my
do me
shoe?"
the honor of waiting for me while I tie my shoe? Is something that I insist that I will one day do to my future wife, just because
You have to.
It's
It's
a
funny as
great
shit.
call. And the whole Christmas idea, the like Amish
Oh.
Christmas, when Jim like makes it happen, and he's like, does he make a list? Yes. Does he check it twice?
Bells and
So he knows
I love
who is
Bells
what's the two things? I
and
can't.
Admirable.
Yeah,
Impish and admirable.
Yes. Like that's.
Oh, I thought you were talking
Everything was
about when Phyllis gets to be Santa, so then he becomes Jesus. Happy birthday, Jesus! Sorry, your
All right.
party's lame.
So now all Parks and Rec
Okay.
Top moments.
moments.
I have a long list.
So give me your top.
I have
two
a
This is
long
while you're
hard.
at
We
it.
get two.
You get two again.
Here we
And
go.
then we're gonna
Magic
and then
start.
one definitive. So if you think that yours is definitive, we'll wait.
Get on
I
your feet.
I have that written down.
Get up and make it happen.
The ice rink
Okay.
scene.
I could watch it forever.
I ran out of money for the
Forever. Okay.
Alright,
I
that's one.
also had okay. I love Ben's claymation as well. But I also love when Jerry had a fart attack, but I think I like Ben's claymation better.
I just want Jerry to say he had a fart attack.
I want the doctor to say that Jerry had a fart attack.
Okay, that's two good ones. I would go bye Little Sebastian. Just
Okay.
that moment. I had the claymation. I have like 10 things. Okay, Ron shaving his mustache. And I think Ron shaving his mustache and Ron and Leslie locked in the office or in season 7 are my two. Are the two top moments for me.
Okay.
All right.
I had number one for me is Ron's hernia when he doesn't want to go to the hospital,
Yes.
but then he's trying to eat his cheeseburger and he just kind of
Yeah, I had that
puts
too.
it at himself. I really like when they bring little Sebastian out and Ben just has no idea. Like,
Yeah, he just doesn't get why it's a big deal. So here, my moments are not necessarily like
In a particular
heartwarming.
order?
They're not in a particular order. They're not heartwarming or anything like that. But I love Tom Haverford going off about his nicknames for food.
Yes.
It's a good one.
Like that is just a great thing. Like I could watch that on
Forever.
a repeat. I could watch Andy throwing up from the snake juice, but that's not actually a top moment. And then I really enjoy Ron with the little girl that comes in, and he gives her
gives her
the
he gives her
landmine.
the landmine. And just the idea of him giving her a landmine continuously makes me laugh. So what would you say? So you ranked them, right? You guys each had your top two. What would your definitive moment be?
Mine's Ron's hernia.
That is key.
That's my favorite.
The ice rink thing is
All right, so but
Yeah, that
all
has
right,
to
so
be on the
remember
list.
your definitive moment for The Office is like the goodbye for Michael Scott. So like
Was it?
that's what you
That-
all agreed that
I feel
is
like
a
that
moment
has
that is a
that's
moment that,
maybe
like,
not the funniest, but that is
it's like the one that
key
Yeah.
moment of that
so
show.
what is your key Parks and Rec moment?
I would say
Leslie winning the election.
Oh, yeah.
But
Ice
if you ask most
That
people,
gets
I
me
feel like they
crying.
would say the get on your feet thing.
Yeah,
All right.
I like the snake juice shit's hilarious.
Yeah, but that's a whole episode of nonsense,
Yeah.
so that's a different situation. All right, so now let's do this to figure out to go over this, and then we'll come back and we'll argue it a little bit more. Let's talk about matchup versus matchup. So this is
Honorable
the
mention.
showdown here. So if I were to say Michael Scott versus Ron Swanson,
Michael.
who's your better character?
Michael.
These are your top characters: Michael Scott, Ron Swanson.
Pick
Who's the better
your
character?
and give me your reason why.
Well, more likable or
Who do you want
in
to?
Who
funnier
would-
situations?
Should we say who would you rather work for? No,
Rather
work
that's
for
bad.
Ron.
That's a bad one.
Because he encourages me to slack off.
I would probably say Michael over Ron.
All right, so
I say Michael.
why?
I also
Everything
think that,
he
like,
says is just constantly.
I also
over the
love
top.
his character
All right, so it's
development.
Michael Scott. He's our definitive. He wins. He beats Ron Swanson.
Yeah.
I think he has to. I don't really hear
Sure.
an
All
argument.
right, so
for
now
Ron
your
Swanson.
second argument is Kevin versus Amy.
I think Andy, because if Andy leaves the show, it's more noticeable than Kevin leaving the show.
So are we agreeing on Andy?
Great. Lock it in.
Lock Andy in. Locked in.
Yeah, he
And
has
then
to be locked in at number
Your
2.
third is Dwight versus Leslie Knope.
Ooh.
Leslie.
What was it? Who versus
Dwight
Leslie?
versus Leslie.
Shane, are you paying attention to this podcast?
There's a lot of
You know
background
who
noise
isn't
going on
paying
right now.
attention to this podcast? Michelob
No,
Ultra.
they are not.
Clearly not, because we're still not sponsored. What the fuck is
You
that?
know who is though?
You know what this podcast is brought to you by?
Bold and brash, more like belongs in the trash industries. An Amanda
It's
Simone
a-
original.
It's an up and coming.
Yeah, get in at the ground floor, folks.
Hire me for all your video, audio,
You know what, I
graphic,
just
and
love on a nice hot
web
day.
design needs.
Not a cold
The
Michelob,
official
'cause they won't
sponsor of the
fucking sponsor
podcast.
us.
Yes. God
But I
bless.
do love a game of horseshoes. This podcast brought to you by horseshoes.
Okay, so Leslie versus
Dwight.
Dwight.
Leslie.
I mean, I'm going Dwight.
That's
All right.
tough, but
I'm in a
RP,
pretty powerful.
It just so happens that this is
position.
your podcast,
I'm going
and
Dwight.
you get to decide who wins.
I think if I'm going to go character for character, I go with Leslie. The entire show is based around Leslie. The entire show works with Leslie.
So Leslie
I-
it is. That-
Dwight might have more funnier
It's all
moments.
his
but who's a
equipment,
better-
folks. So Leslie wins.
That's true.
Now, of the underrated characters, who is a better character, Creed or Donna?
Creed.
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 Yeah.
I don't think
I've
anybody
had
can
more
argue with
laugh
Creed.
out loud moments with Creed than with Donna,
All right.
hands down.
Now, who sucks more,
Ooh.
Gabe or Mark Brandano?
Mark Brandanowitz,
Brandanowitz.
without a doubt, Mark
I
Brandanowitz.
don't know.
Lock it in. Lock it in.
Okay, we can lock
Are
it
you-
in, but I don't know. if
With
I
Gabe,
That show gets
Gabe's
so much
not
better when
as
he
bad
leaves.
I know he's
Mark.
not that bad, but I don't think that
So,
Mark's that bad. Like, I
after-
don't like him, but
after
like,
the
Go rewatch
character-
season 1. He brings nothing to the table.
I literally watched the season.
He's not funny
today.
at
all. I agree. He doesn't bring anything to the table. But is he hateable?
He's kind of a
do
party
we hate
pooper.
him? Like,
I hate him.
I don't hate him. I just don't
I
think
hate
he's anything special. You know?
Gabe's creepy.
Nothing right
Mark's
about
just bland.
Gabe is gross. Okay, we'll go Mark.
All right, so if Mark loses
Gross.
this, then
Mop it up.
after the character showdown, it's a 3-2 lead for The Office.
All right.
So now episode versus episode.
I-
It's already done.
overall-
You can't shake your head as much as you want, man, and the listeners can't see it.
I'm just saying. No. Can I just say?
No.
Yes, I can. Comparing these two shows is just not really fair, especially the episodes, because if you go on Twitter, what are you going to see?
You know what we should do? We
You're
should
gonna
give
see The
everybody a
Office.
fucking trophy, shouldn't we?
I'm just saying, if you're going to look at iconic episodes and moments and try to compare, if you go and do like a freaking Twitter poll or something, everyone's going to vote The Office just because they see The
Hey,
Office
guess what?
more
I don't
and
give
they're
a
like,
fuck about Twitter.
okay, but I'm not
I
saying
care about
I'm
previously
just
recorded.
saying it's hard because they're like
That's what she said.
every Parks episode is funny, but like people will pick out specific episodes and specific parts from The Office and be like, this is great, nothing can top this. This is amazing. But like, guys, Parks.
Hey, guys, well, listen.
Parks doesn't get the
I'm
love
stressed.
it
It
deserves.
doesn't.
If we just spent a lot of time establishing all this stuff to go up against each other for you to just say, hey, it's Parks, then I don't really know what this podcast is about.
I don't
anymore.
either.
And
I'm
I feel like we
stressed.
should just start a new podcast called
I'm
In No
stressed. Me
Particular
too.
Order.
I don't believe
Just
that
already
is-
your podcast that we record simultaneously.
So, let's get back to the business.
Yes.
Episode versus episode. The injury was in all of your top 3.
Yes.
I think if we got to go
Fantastic.
episode
So the
by-
injury is
yeah.
going to be our number 1 episode.
Yes.
Do you want me to do this?
We didn't
Right.
establish
Well,
it.
Definitive
So now
compares.
the injury is going to go
It's
up
gotta go
against
Snake Juice.
Snake juice.
Little Sebastian and Snake Juice both have 2 picks.
So it's gotta be Snake Juice.
No,
So you have to figure out what is your top Parks episode.
It's gotta be Snake Juice.
Little Sebastian.
Which episode could you do without?
I could do.
I can't do it out.
That's hard.
Snake Juice.
I can't do without Snake Juice either.
I could probably do without Snake Juice. I don't know if I could do without it, but I also couldn't do without Little Sebastian.
Andy throws up at the end of Snake Juice.
I don't think that
It's
part's
my
funny.
favorite scene in
I
the
do
entire
not
series.
think that part is funny.
Snake Juice is the
When he
same episode where
stands
Jason
up and he
Mantzoukas,
yells
right?
after April, and then he leans over and
Different
he
one?
throws
Just
up.
goes
It's
more.
hilarious.
Little Sebastian is the more iconic episode.
Give me
Lil.
the episode.
What does
I
he
probably
do?
it's not maybe
He does
not
being a little horse. He does it better than anyone else.
All right, let's go Little Sebastian then.
in terms of more iconic episode. It has to be Little Sebastian
All right,
because
so now, because we're not going to argue all these episodes, episode to episode. Little Sebastian versus the injury. What's the better episode?
the injury.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
That
All right.
episode is hilarious.
gives-
Strictly for
gives
Michael
The
trying to
Office-
put his foot in the MRI
Gives
machine.
The Office a 4-2 lead. Now, your worst episodes are Scott's Tots
Of course.
and The Boys Club. Which one is the worst
Scott's
episode?
Scott's
Scott's
Tots.
Tots.
That's just, you can't.
Which brings us to 4-3, The Office. Now we're
What do
gonna
you-
go.
what's your vote,
We're gonna
Patrice?
go definitive moment versus good
Patrice
moment.
doesn't know enough. We screen
But
calls. So
Yeah, can we get the producer in here? Patrice is banging on the door.
We gotta fire that fucking intern.
Yeah, seriously.
Plop.
Listen, Janice, you do this shit again, I'm gonna call Drexel and let them know that your communications major is a waste of our time.
This podcast is not brought to you by Drexel.
That they do like weird semesters.
And communication majors across the world. I respect
Yeah,
you.
and also
I
Michael
respect
Bolter if they
myself.
want to.
Just not Janice, because she's a lazy piece of shit.
Look, what did Janice do to you? We gave her an
She let-
opportunity.
Patrice
Anyway.
on the air.
That's true. She did. You're
Guys,
right.
we don't have an intern. Janice is my dog. It's not even true. I don't have a dog. I do have a dog. I don't know why I keep lying.
You're a liar.
What is
You're
your-
lying.
What's your definitive moment? All right, so we're gonna go big moment, and then we're gonna go like laughable moment. So you have goodbye moment with Michael, and you have get on your feet, Leslie Knope. Which one wins out there?
Two different
Michael's
moments, though.
goodbye.
Yeah.
They're
One's
not
for
two good
comedy,
moments.
one's for I'm crying.
Yeah.
Well, our
They're
best
I'm
they're
crying in
not
the club.
two. Which
Crying in
one?
the
Which
club.
one do you
I-
want to watch again?
I just look up the Goodbye Michael scene. I gotta lean more towards the.
All right. Well, he looks
Michael.
up one. You look up the other. Shane, what do you look up other than Pornhub?
Mm-hmm.
Or
Wait, the internet
ex-hamster.
has other stuff.
Yeah. No, I'll show you later.
Michael's goodbye, just because I don't know if it's true.
All right, but we can get another. We got another
Yeah,
one here. We
the
got
It was
another
rumor.
one.
unscripted.
Mm.
They
We
hate
got-
you now.
We got another one here. So
Put it
now,
in there.
other moment. Here are the moments that we've listed. I'm going to give you 6 and 6. Some of them are doubled up. Michael hits Meredith. Kevin in the chili. GPS into the lake. Michael as Dwight's surprise best man. parallel parking for 2 cars, and giving up the lazy Scranton rat.
Lazy Scranton rat.
All right, now wait.
Iconic.
This is a comprehensive comparison. Versus Ron's hernia, Bye Bye Little Sebastian, Ron shaving his mustache, Ron and Leslie locked in the office, Ben's claymation.
Ben's claymation.
Iconic.
Fucking hilarious.
Out of those groups, the groupings, which would you prefer?
The Office.
Yeah.
And this is not. I was kind of starting to lean towards Parks and Rec.
Yeah, I went into this thinking Parks, but you.
I mean, those moments are just so
this is right now.
Again, it's only because Parks is underrated. Like,
but if Parks is underrated, we're literally ranking things back to back.
I know, but like
it's not like we're coming in here like I like this show and I like this show and this show's underrated. We're giving us everything that I can possibly give you.
I love both.
We're rating them equally.
Comparing those episodes and those moments, you just got to rank The Office over it all. You just have to.
Yeah, we're in a 4-2 situation. So The Office is winning now, but here's the other thing.
You know what?
Which series? Hey, we're not done.
I want to be controversial real quick.
I'm
not going by what's most iconic. If I had to watch those scenes over again, I'm sorry, I might pick Parks. I know that the Office scenes are more iconic. I love them, and I can't get enough, but I might pick Parks.
You're kind of fucking with the vibe here, because the next thing is, which series would you rather rewatch?
Parks and Rec.
So
I've done The Office 3.
Only no, but
like
there's
10,
so we're at a 4-2. We're at a 4-2 standard right now. We're at a 4-2 standard. Now, there's 3 more questions we have to finish this off. All right?
Yeah.
Which puts us at a total of 9. Best overall series start to finish. All right? You have to watch every episode of the series.
Parks.
Which one is the most
consistent?
Parks.
All right.
It's also 2 less seasons.
That's fine.
But
that's not why,
after like middle of season 2, it stays good.
Yeah.
Once Michael leaves, it's not as good. It's
That's
still
what I'm
good,
saying.
but it's
No,
not as good. Yeah,
but you're also
so
looking at
Parks.
a total number of episodes as well.
Okay.
Also, I've rewatched both of those shows at least 7 times each, and
How much free time do you have?
A lot. I also watch Netflix at work at all times.
Fair enough.
So.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a file bitch, so
okay.
I
didn't know that. Do you have that on your resume?
I do.
Wait till this year, she's getting fired.
Seriously though, I listen to Netflix at all times, and I can get sick of The Office. Like, I literally had to take a break from it. I could watch Parks and Rec, finish it, restart it, finish it, restart it.
This podcast brought to you by file bitches around the globe.
Yes, let's get it.
File.
That's what I say.
Get that bitch.
Philo. I am Philo.
Okay,
all right, so
Jerry.
Your best start to finish is Parks and Rec.
Obviously.
Yes.
Which is your better rewatchable quality?
Considering I've watched.
So now this is not a question of.
I think The Office.
I was gonna say this isn't a question of what do you think? Which have you seen more?
The Office. I've watched The Office 3 times.
So if you've watched one more than the other, then I think we know the answer to that.
I may have watched The Office more.
I watched The Office more.
Well, yeah, The Office has been around more.
But I've like sat on Netflix and rewatched it 3 times. I've only done Parks once.
I can't weigh in on this
I've done
because
Parks so many times.
there used to be marathons of The Office on before Parks was even a thing.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like that's not a fair.
I had The
watched-
Office on DVD when I was in grade school.
I watched Parks first, and then I watched The Office, and I liked The Office more. Yeah. I thought The Office was funnier, but I don't know. It's tough.
The Office.
I think everything that we listed. The only the difference I can make an argument for Parks and Rec is that I think the characters overall are much better on Parks and Rec.
Maybe that.
Yeah.
Than on.
Well, that's why the Parks and Rec characters won out.
Yeah,
as far as characters
Parks
go.
and Rec, but
like
they
moments,
have not
series,
run out in moments and anything else. So right now you're 5-3.
Yeah.
All right, now we got one more. Which show continuously gets better throughout?
Parks.
So
it's easy.
Your final is Parks and Rec 4, The Office 5.
I think Parks has more of a storyline and more of like each episode has like it's supposed to be funny, but it has like heartwarming parts in it. Whereas The Office, you get like
a lot of crude.
Which is fine. Like the humor's different, but like you get a couple episodes, like you said, with like By Michael and whatever. Like you get those, and you're like, this hurts. Like my heart. I'm sad. This is amazing. But like I feel like every Parks and Rec episode has something like that, which is for me, it's doing it.
Okay, I mean that's a solid argument. The Parks more relatable. I guess more relatable. There's more emotional drive, is what I'm hearing. More humor,
We have a 5-4 The Office win in this showdown of Parks and Rec.
I
versus
want
The
to
Office.
give Parks the credit it deserves. That it's
Well, I mean, 5-4 is not a big.
Yeah.
It's not like it got blown out.
Yeah.
it's close. I mean,
And
the
we all
Office.
came in here saying that we think Parks and Rec is a better show, but then when we sit there
Can I
and we
just-
establish it,
Can I just raise one point?
No.
April and Andy are better than Jim and Pam.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
when you said you were going to raise a point, I thought you were going to talk about the boner that you're currently sporting.
As did I.
This table is
Bob,
elevated. I
Bob,
just
We
here.
said we would take care of that when the recording stopped.
I
right?
just wanted to let you know that if you didn't
Bob,
want to wait,
Bob,
I'm
Bob.
willing.
Did you
We
pop
gotta-
one of
we gotta
the
keep that PG.
This podcast is brought to you
by Viagra?
by Viagra.
It's the only people sponsor that picked us up. It's weird.
They
It's
gave
very
us
weird.
so many pills.
Yeah.
Had a boner for more than 4 hours, and I don't have a doctor.
So
Don't know what to do.
Call more ladies.
my argument will be for Parks and Rec is that it improves every season, it gets better, and the Office declines after Michael leaves. Now there are less episodes. There's only 7 seasons of Parks. There's 9 seasons of The Office. More, even the last season of
But-
Parks only like 10 episodes.
It's the same writers.
Guys, what
This is
we
the
So
same writers.
by parts,
basically what we're doing right now
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
that at the end of the boxing match, I just told you that this guy won 9 rounds and this guy won 4, and now you're saying, yeah, but that guy really had a good 4,
It's true.
right? You've established that The Office has won this showdown.
I mean, if
Most
we had one more
people-
category, though, I mean,
If we had one more
Then we're
category,
just
then
gonna
it'd be
stay
tied,
Then we're gonna stay
and
away.
no,
Okay,
everybody doesn't
but-
get a trophy on
I'm just saying,
Previously recorded.
previously recorded.
doesn't
I
necessarily.
was gonna call it-
No one gets a Dundee.
In no particular
Yeah.
order.
Nobody gets
Hey,
it
if you want to give somebody a Dundee, then now we're at 6-4
up.
because you just made an Office
No!
reference over Parks and Rec.
That's
Well,
true.
because they don't have trophies.
They
So,
don't.
is that? Let's
Woman of the
hear.
Year award.
All right, so we have
Let's
the
hear it
count.
for the boys. Hey, let's give the boys a hand.
Yeah.
The Office. Let's give the boys a hand.
Yeah, we did it. We did it. We did it.
I'm not clapping. I just want everyone to know.
Give me you gave your closing argument as to why you think Parks is better. List aside, and that's kind of our thing is the list, but list aside, you gave me your reasons why you thought that Parks was better than The Office.
Yeah.
Shane?
To add to my argument, I know we already said Parks and Rec characters like above and beyond, but
So
I
what
have.
is your
Good lube.
additional
Go
argument?
I think every part you can find like character development in like almost every character in Parks, whereas like you see it in Michael, you see it in like a couple
That's a
people in The Office, but I feel
good
like
point.
it's so much more noticeable on Parks and Rec. Like you see how Andy grows, Andy and April as a couple. You see how like you get a little more Ron's soft side. Anne's not so much of a little weirdo. She's not a bitch. Like I don't know. I just
The Office won.
The Office did win.
5-4. The Office has won.
All
Wrap
right.
this up.
This podcast brought to you by Steve Carell's hairy body.
It is very hairy. Kelly Clarkson.
Mm.
Oh, God.
Yeah, get closer to the mic for that one.
So, I know we came to our conclusion that The Office is better. We clearly have 3 satisfied hosts and one maybe slightly pissed off guest.
Yeah, but she's also
Not
a
pissed,
guest and
just
she's not
disgruntled.
invited back, so who cares?
That's true.
excuse
You're
me?
fired.
Oh, well, hey, that's political.
We've come to the conclusion that The Office is better. All right, I want to thank you all for listening. If you're still here, which I doubt you are,
Yes.